You might have considered shared ownership as a great way to get onto the housing ladder, and maybe it's right for you, but there are also lots of complexities to do with the ownership, the fees, and then selling the property that you need to be aware of. So what is shared ownership? Well, shared ownership allows you to buy a proportion of the property and rent the other part. So you'll be making kind of two payments every month. You'll have your mortgage payment for the proportion of the property you own, and then you'll be making a rental payment for the proportion that's owned by the government or the housing association. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that you will usually be a leaseholder and not a freeholder. So let's think about some of the other costs that might be involved. You're going to have your mortgage payment, you're going to have the rental payment, there may well be a service charge and a ground rent payable. Worth bearing in mind that some service charges might increase over time. So when you get the terms and conditions of looking as to what you're buying into, make sure you're really clear on what's going to happen to future rents and everything alongside that mortgage payment. Even though you own a proportion of the property, you may well be responsible for 100% of any repair or maintenance costs. So really know what you're getting into. Now, one concept to be aware of with shared ownership is this idea of staircasing. So you may well buy a proportion of the property to start with, let's say 25%, and over time you might buy more proportions of that property to go from 25% to 50% to 75% to 100%, for example. Now, that's called staircasing. It's where you increase the percentage of ownership that you have in the property. Now, it's worth being aware that any staircasing that you do is going to be done on the value of the property at the time, not the value when you bought it. So there's going to be more costs involved. There's going to be new valuation fees and legal fees. If you're doing it through a mortgage, there might be new mortgage arrangement fees. So be aware that there is going to be a cost associated with increasing your percentage of the property you own. Let's think then about selling a shared ownership property and what might be involved for you there. Many shared ownership leases will include what's called a nomination period. This means that when you come to sell, the housing association gets the first opportunity to find a buyer before you can market the property more widely. Now, this might have a real knock-on effect to the time it takes you to sell the property, and you need to factor that into anything that you're looking to buy ongoing. So shared ownership might suit buyers who can't access full ownership immediately, but there's definitely some key considerations to be aware of. Make sure you really consider the factors we've covered in this video when you're looking at shared ownership, and make sure it's right for you. So if you're considering buying a shared ownership property and want to make sure it's right for you, our shared ownership buyer checklist might well help you with making that decision. You can download it via the link below.